Okay. So we know about the assumptions of oligopoly. Okay, and we know the most important assumption that we make for oligopoly, and which is interdependence right here. Okay, the rest, they are very similar to monopoly, because when you look at the spectrum, oligopoly is very close to monopoly. Okay, so they will have some very similar characteristics. Okay, except you will see a few very big companies in the market in oligopoly, and that's why they are mutual independent. Okay, and we are always studying the independence that they have in this market. Okay, all right, yeah, and then we talk about cooperative games and also competitive games last week. Okay, and we know that uh, when it comes to the oligopoly, when we know they have interdependence, there are always conflicting incentives. Okay, yeah, so conflicting incentives, uh, you know, these are one of the most important elements we have in oligopoly. Okay, so at the same time you will see the companies, they would like to compete because they want to earn the maximum benefits. Okay, also they would like to cooperate with each other because that will give them a win-win situation. Okay, if they work together as an industry, so they can actually get more benefits for both of them, or for all of them. Okay, and last week when we were looking at the payoff matrix right here. Okay, so this one here, it talks about the game theory. Okay, and this one here can explain why companies in oligopoly, they have conflicting incentives. Okay, so once again in the exam you can actually use this to support your writing. Okay, even though we don't have this in the scope of the exam for this term. Okay, but I'm talking about the real exam that you are going to do. Okay, next year. Okay, all right. So don't forget. Okay, when you are trying to explain interdependence, okay, it's always good to use this payoff matrix here to explain your idea. Okay, all right. Yeah, and from the payoff matrix, last week we did some very simple calculation, and we know, look, for both of the oligopolies, they are going to stick with the strategy here. Okay, because this is what we call a dominant strategy, when you are going to use just one strategy because that is going to be the best strategy that you can have, no matter what kind of reaction, or no matter what kind of action or decision making that your opponent is making. Okay, so that's dominant strategy. Okay, so based on the mathematics, we know they are going to choose to lower the price. Okay, all right, so yeah, so this is what we are trying to see. Okay, so this payoff matrix, okay, the combination here is actually explaining oligopoly. Okay, all right, yeah, and at the end, look, we have another term which is Nash equilibrium, and when the oligopolies, they don't have the incentive to change their strategy, and they will stay using one strategy, and that is what we call a Nash equilibrium. Okay, all right, so in this case you can see both dominant strategies for both oligopolies, and also you can see a Nash equilibrium right here. Okay, because they are going to use this strategy here, and then they don't have any incentive to change to another strategy. Okay, all right, yeah, but the thing is, look, logically, okay, from the mathematics, logically, we know that the oligopolies, they are going to lower the price. Okay, because once again, when it comes to game theory, when it comes to business competition, we are not trying to win against our opponents. All right, this is not the idea. We are not trying to win against the opponent. We are trying to maximize our benefits. Okay, And all the companies, they are just very greedy. Okay, they all want to maximize their benefit, trying to get that $11, and that is the reason why at the end they end up using the strategy right here. Okay, they will both lower the price. Okay, because that is the option which will give them the maximum benefit. Okay, but I'm pretty sure both of the oligopolies, they are aware of this. Okay, but when they are aware of this and they look, what if they cooperate with each other, then you will see there is conflict. Okay, yeah, logically, if they're using this as their dominant strategy, look, you know they will be earning less profits. Okay, so but when they cooperate with each other, they can earn $4 more from each of the companies. Okay, but at the end, they are not going to do that. Yeah, they are still going to compete using lower price. Okay, so you see here, that's the dilemma that we have. Okay, yeah, logically I should choose this, but when I look at the payoff matrix, yeah, if we can cooperate with each other, then we can earn $4 more for each of the companies. Okay, but at the end, look, we tend to choose this as our strategy. So that's the problem. Okay, so that's the dilemma that we have, and that's why it explains why it is also applicable to a prisoner's dilemma. Okay, yeah. So here, yeah, that's the dilemma. All right, okay, yeah. But you can see, behind this dilemma, I would say there is a psychological element which causes this dilemma. Okay, there is a psychological element which causes this dilemma. Uh, what kind of element do you think that is? Which causes this dilemma here? Any ideas? There should be some psychological element. Okay, like why? Okay, when you see, look, logically, I'm going to choose the option which will give me a worse return. Yeah, when I can actually team up with my opponents and get a little more in terms of profits. But at the end, I'm just going to choose this option here. Okay, and that's why both are worse off. Okay, so what could be the psychological element that causes this result? Savor, that's true. Savor, or you never know when they betray you. But yeah, Ray, you are absolutely correct. But if you want to find a better word for this element, what would be the word? I mean, you're absolutely correct. But we're trying to look at one better word to show that psychological element. Yeah, that causes people to have this insecurity. Anyone who would like to try? Oh no. Okay. All right. Yeah. But Ray has the right idea. Okay. But I would say, look, I'm gonna use mistrust. Okay, mistrust. Yeah, is basically the same. Okay, yeah, because we just don't trust each other. Okay, because we are afraid. Okay, we have the kind of insecurity that you never know if the other guy is going to betray you. Okay, even though you have persuade yourself to trust that person. Okay, all right, and that's the problem here, and that creates the prisoner's dilemma. Okay, all right, so I would rather go for this option here, even though I know, look, yeah, if we just team up, okay, with each other, we all can earn $4 more. Okay, all right, yeah. So that's the idea of game theory. Okay, yeah. So you see here, you can just use this payoff matrix to explain a lot of things about conflicting incentives right here. Okay, so when you see a question like this, do use the payoff matrix to help, okay, explain your idea. Okay, all right, yeah. And last week, just before the end of the lesson, we had another practical exercise, which is here. Yeah, which is here. Okay, so so you see the numbers, they are all different now. Okay, because in the reality is not always going to be like this. Okay, you will see the set of combinations right here. Okay, so this is the ideal case for oligopoly right here. Okay, yeah, the combination of numbers. Okay, so this is the ideal situation, and this is the kind of combination that you would like to use when you are trying to explain it academically. Okay, but in the reality, it's not always going to be like this. Okay, you might see something like this. Okay, the combination, yeah, you may see something like this. Okay, so here, look, so last week, yeah, we got some time, and I'm not sure if you have finished the calculation or not. But here, so very quickly, can you just take a look at this, and do you find a dominant strategy for both Coca-Cola and Pepsi? So let's go for Pepsi first. Okay. Do you see any dominant strategy for Pepsi? Okay, so what would that be? So they will call. Okay, so they will set a higher price. Okay, yeah, or set a higher price. All right, yeah. Okay, so yeah. So this is the decision that they will make, because when we look at the payoff matrix, okay, right? Yeah, the payoff matrix. So when Coca-Cola is trying to set a higher price, okay, and we are trying to set a higher price as well, then yeah, then we will get 200. Okay, and if they're setting a higher price and we are setting a lower price, then we'll get 160. Okay, so compare the two of them, this one is better. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to choose to cooperate or to set a higher price. Okay, and if we quickly go to another case, yeah, if Coca-Cola decided to lower the price, okay, right here, and we decided to, increase the price, then we are going to earn 110. Okay, yeah, and yeah, so if they're setting a low price and we are setting a low price as well, then we will earn $90. So compare 110 and 90. This one will give us better benefit. So we are going to set a higher price in this case. So for both of the cases, we are going to use higher price. Okay, so that's why you can see Pepsi, they will have a dominant strategy. Okay, based on the analysis here, the basic analysis here, they are going to set a higher price because that will give them the best benefit. Okay, no matter what kind of decision Coca-Cola has made. Okay, all right, yeah. But what about Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola, can you see any dominant strategy from Coca-Cola? Okay, yeah, Talia, can you quickly explain why there's no dominant strategy? Why there's no dominant strategy for Coca-Cola? Okay, if Pepsi set a higher price, Coca-Cola will set a low price. If Pepsi set a low price, Coca-Cola will set a high price. Okay, let's see. Uh, so if Pepsi set a higher price right here, okay, yeah. So you can take a look of this, okay. So if Coca-Cola also set a high price, then they will get 110, yeah. But if they set a low price, then they will get 150. Okay, so compare the two numbers, right here. So in this case, they are going to lower the price for sure. Okay, yeah. But if Pepsi is setting a low price, so if you compare the both number as well, then you will see setting a high price will give them a higher benefit. Okay, so in this case they are going to choose to lower the price, and in this case they are going to increase the price. So you cannot find any dominant strategy here for Coca-Cola. Okay, so this is something more similar to what we might see in the reality. Okay, based on the complexity of the market structure. Okay, so it's not always going to be as ideal as the combination of numbers that I have here. Okay, all right. So sometimes, yeah, when you look at the real figures, you cannot really find dominant strategies. Okay, so yeah, so there you go. So that's number one. But the second question here: do you find a Nash equilibrium for each of them? Do you find Nash equilibrium for each of them? So for Pepsi, yeah, I think so, because they have a dominant strategy, and that's why that dominant strategy will become their Nash equilibrium. Okay, yeah, because that's the best choice. They're not going to change their strategy. Okay, so there's no incentive for them to change the strategy for Pepsi. Okay, so for Pepsi, definitely there is a Nash equilibrium. But for Coca-Cola, do you think there is a Nash equilibrium for Coca-Cola? So at the end, will they have no incentive to change their strategy? Would they stick with one strategy at the end for Coca-Cola? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Talia, that's very good. Okay, yeah. So so now you see Coca-Cola is being more passive. Okay, in this case. All right. So you see here, even when you don't have a dominant strategy. So dominant strategy is more like proactive, okay, right? Because when you based on the calculation and so that is the strategy that you should use, okay. But even when you don't have a dominant strategy, okay, you can still come up with a Nash equilibrium, okay, because based on the fact that Pepsi is always going to set a higher price, okay. So if you're Coca-Cola, then you have this in your mind. Okay, Pepsi is going to set a high price. All right, so you only have two options right now. Okay, there are only two options left. Okay, either you are earning 110 or you are earning 150. If that is what you can see from the payoff matrix. Okay, so if that is the case, then obviously when you're trying to maximize your benefit, you are going to choose lowering your price, because if you choose to lower your price, look, you are going to earn the maximum benefits, okay, out of the two options, right? Okay, and that's why at the end of the day, Coca-Cola, they will also have a Nash equilibrium, okay, even though they don't have a dominant strategy, okay, yeah, because that is going to be the best option that they can have, okay, all right, yeah, 150. So yes, okay, yeah. So at the end, yeah, Pepsi, they are going to set a high price, and Coca-Cola, they are going to set a low price. Okay, all right. So yeah, so this is one more practical scenario when we talk about game theory. Okay, but I can tell you, look, in the exam, it won't be like this. Okay, all right. In paper 3 or in paper 1, in paper 1 you just have to use it's the set of numbers like this. Okay, yeah. In paper 3, you would not be seeing something like this. Okay, but I'm trying to make up some different numbers so that you understand more about game theory. Okay, all right. Yeah, game theory is something very flexible. Okay, there are so many ways that you can play around with game theory. Okay, all right, and that is here. This is another case. Okay, all right, yeah, cool. Okay, all right. So that's basically game theory. Okay, yeah, and that is one very cool idea to explain oligopoly, this market structure. Okay, yeah, how they behave. Okay, right. So in summary, yeah, based on the Nash equilibrium, we know, okay, sometimes, yeah, you will see some conflicts, all right, between the self-interest and collective interests. Okay, right, yeah. When you look at the payoff matrix, okay, once again, right here, you see here, yeah, self-interest, okay, and then collective interest, right? You have the dilemma right here, okay, yeah. And you see at the end, look, if we use this, assumption, if we use this theory right here, the firms, they might end up with lower prices. Okay, and we talked about that last week. So they will earn lower profits. So that is really bad for all of the oligopolies. Okay, because they are going to conduct like a price war, right? When all the firms, they are competing with each other using price, they're all trying to lower the price. And when we look at the payoff matrix, we can see, right, because this is when they all lower the price. Okay, right? So this is basically a price war that you can see. Okay, so that is very, very bad. Okay, that is very bad. And a lot of them, okay, a lot of oligopolies, they are trying to avoid price war. But how do they avoid it? How do they avoid price war in this case? If price war is something very unpleasant, so how can they avoid it? What can they do to avoid price war? Yeah, that is something that you have already learned in monopolistic competition. What could that be? So how do they avoid price war? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's very good. Okay, differentiation. Okay, yeah. So they just have to make their goods more different, so that look, if my good is differentiated enough, then I can sell them in higher prices. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so I'm going to go for non-price competition. Okay, so you can see, based on the assumptions, there will be a strong incentive, okay, for companies in this market structure to go for non-price competition. Okay, because they just don't want to have price war, because that will be damaging all of the companies. And if they want to be more secure, they should use more non-price competition in this case. Okay, right? Yeah. So yeah. But in the reality, yeah, this is something very ambiguous. Okay, because when you look at the reality, when you look at some markets, yeah, you will see, look, something is not right. Okay, people, they are not using a non-price competition, even though they are in oligopoly. So that's why, look, in the theory, we are going to look at it, based on the assumptions that we have. But in the reality, there will be some arguments. Okay, there are a lot of other factors that are affecting the result of oligopolies. Okay, so that's why it is worth to do more investigation on this topic here. Okay, if you're working on an EE or things like that. Okay, all right. But in academics, this is what we are going to C, okay, oligopoly, yeah, as the market structure. Okay, all right. So here, look, remember last time, you guys watched a clip from a movie, A Beautiful Mind. Yeah, I saw that movie. So thank you, Brandon, for sending me the link. And yeah, it was a pretty good movie. Okay, even though it wasn't really talking about much. Okay, yeah, about how John Nash, okay, he came up with the game theory and everything. Okay, but it really showed how John lives his life. Okay, so that was a very good movie. Okay, and here's another movie that shows game theory. Okay, so take your time and watch it.
Sir, they've stopped their engines.
Right, get on the radio. Tell them we'll come back and pick them up once we dump the scumbags.
Liberty, this is Spirit. Come in.
What the heck was that?
Liberty, come in, please. This is Spirit. Come in.
Get down to the engine room now.
Captain, I got 100 barrels down there rigged to blow. Engines.
Oh my god.
Looks like some kind of detonator.
Why would they give us the detonator to our own bomb?
Tonight you're all gonna be a part of a social experiment. I'll blow you all sky high.
Liberty, come in, over. It's dead.
Anyone attempts to get off their boat, you all die. Each of you has a remote. Blow up the other boat. At midnight, I blow you all up. If, however, one of you presses the button, I'll let that boat live. So, who's it gonna be? Harvey Dent's most wanted scumbag collection, or the sweet and innocent civilians? You choose. Oh, and you might want to decide quickly because the people on the other boat may not be quite so noble.
Stay back.
Well, now, who are you to decide? We ought to talk this over at least.
You don't all have to die. Those men had their chance.
We are not going to talk about this.
Why aren't we talking about it?
They're talking over the same exact thing on the other boat. Let's put it to a vote.
I want everybody to put their votes on this piece of paper. If anyone's got pens, pass it along. We need to get these votes in quickly. Come on.
Is 140 against 396 for.
So go ahead, do it.
We're still here. And that means they haven't killed us yet either.
You don't want to die, but you don't know how to take a life. Give it to me. The Indian will kill you and take it anyway.
No one wants to get their hands dirty. Fine. I'll do it. Those men on that boat, they made their choices. They chose to murder and steal. It doesn't make any sense for us to have to die too.
Here we go.
Okay, have you all finished watching the clip? Yeah, so, have you guys seen that movie? Yeah, Dark Knight? Right, okay, so, what can you tell us about, game theory using the clip I just gave you? Something is different this time, okay, in this payoff matrix, okay. So can anyone explain like what's happening to the payoff matrix this time? Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's very true. Okay, because when we were learning game theory, okay, in oligopoly, we know that okay there is a dilemma, okay, right? People, they have incentive to betray, they have the incentive to cooperate, okay, yeah, okay, and they'll be much better off when they cooperate. But in that clip, okay, Joker, the guy who set up a game, he just changed the numbers a little bit. So this time, even when you cooperate, okay, the people, they will die. Okay, there are two ships. All right, one of them, you have like full of prisoners, and then another one full of civilians. Okay, so yeah, whoever press the button first, then the other ship will blow up. Okay, so that's the game. Okay, so the game is really trying to show, they're trying to test, or trying to show the people they're actually as ugly as Joker is. Okay, and that's why Joker said it. Set the game like this, because he just doesn't believe people, they have something good in them. Okay, and that is very interesting. Yeah, people, they can actually play around with this game theory, and they create some very interesting scenario for the people. Okay, all right, yeah. So that is also a kind of game theory. Okay, even though I would say there is some flaw in this game theory in the clip. Okay, so usually when we are talking about game theory, okay, the players, they will make the decision simultaneously. Okay, but in the movie, yeah, it is not really that case. Okay, yeah. So whoever press the button faster, then yeah, they will be saved. Okay, so yeah, even though there are some flaws, but yeah, I think it is a very good idea to explain game theory as well. Okay, all right, yeah, but in the end, right? You know the ending. Okay, the ending is no one pressed the button. Okay, even logically, okay, logically people, they should press the button. Okay, but no one pressed the button in that movie. Okay. Yeah, it shows. Okay, people, they are very good. Okay, they are very good. And when you watch the clip, you see one of the prisoners, he just threw that remote to the sea, and then one of the civilians, he just didn't want to press the remote at the end. Okay. Yeah, so you see here, right? Yeah, sometimes when we are learning economics, it can be related to some psychology, and Batman is actually a very good movie to explain psychology as well. Yeah, so you can say Batman and Joker, they are two characters, but actually they are you can say they are actually some human moral value that we have, and like every day we are having different values battling each other, and sometimes Batman wins and sometimes Joker wins. Okay, yeah, yeah. So this is I think this is actually the idea of that comic book. Okay, right? Yeah. So you see, right at the end, Batman wins. Okay, so people are good. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so game theory. There you go. Okay. All right. Okay. So here, look, is a homework for you. Okay. So this homework is well, you can say is pretty simple, or it can be kind of complicated if you try to do this homework seriously. Okay. Yeah. So here's the homework. Okay, this is what I want you to do as a homework. You just have to play this game right here. Okay, this game is yeah, I think the creator he or she made so much effort in this game. So do play this game like seriously. Okay. All right. So just take your time and play the game, and think while you are playing the game. Okay, and this is what I want you to do. So after playing the game, you just have to write, like a small reflection. Okay, yeah. So what are the most powerful messages that the game gave you? Okay, all right. So this is the homework. Yeah, simple enough. Okay, yeah. Just play the game and write a reflection. Okay, the game will cost you like 30 minutes to finish. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's the homework. Okay. Right. So now we know interdependence. Why? Yeah. Because of this. We can use game theory to explain. Okay. Interdependence. Okay. Why people they have conflict between cooperating and betraying. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. So we'll go to another part. All right. So you see here, sometimes when we look at oligopoly, we have something which is called concentration ratio. Okay. So when you talk about concentration ratio, we are just trying to look at some numbers. Okay, you see here, yeah, you will see some percentage of output that that is produced by the largest firms in an industry, to see like how big that oligopoly is in that industry. Okay, all right, and there's no standard number for the largest firms. Well, you will see once I give you the examples. Okay, right. So right here, look. Let's say free firm concentration ratio of industry, X. Okay, like a food industry or whatever that is 70%. Okay, so if you see this right here, it means okay the three largest firms in industry X produce 70% of the industry's total output. Okay, so that's what is trying to say. Okay, all right. Yeah, so three firms. Okay, right. So we are looking at the three largest firms, like how many percentage of output that they produce. in the market or in the industry. All right. Okay. So and here look at some of the examples right here. Okay. Right. So let's say here furniture. Okay. So what can you see from the furniture if you are talking about 8 firms? So here, can you just quickly explain like what does it mean? 26.5% for furniture. Yep, 8 firm in 26.5%. What does it mean? Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, so you see here that concentration ratio. Okay, right? It's not exclusive for oligopoly. We can actually use concentration ratio to see if they belong to other, market structure as well. Okay, but here, look, when we are trying to look at what should be an oligopoly, then we can actually use concentration ratio to define, okay, yeah, in what extent that will be oligopoly. Okay, in general, we would say, look, we will use 4 firm. Okay, if the percentage is over 40%, then we would say, okay, that's an oligopoly. Okay, but in the furniture case, okay, so then look, the 8 largest firms in the furniture industry, okay, has the output of 26.5%. Okay, so there is an approximately like 75% of the output that will be produced by other firms. Okay, so you can see there are so many competitors actually in this industry here. Okay, so they would definitely are not, okay, they're definitely not oligopoly in this case. Okay, all right, yeah. So from the concentration ratio we could see what kind of market structure they are. Okay, but this is just, look, this is not definite. Okay, all right, yeah. So just in general, people they believe, okay, if there are 4 firms, okay, 4 largest firms, they control more than 40% of the total output, then they are oligopolies. Okay, all right. So in this case, then you can see, right, the chemical in this case, transportation equipment in this case, okay, they are oligopoly. Okay, all right, yeah. And for the rest of them, they will be something else. Okay, possibly monopolistic competition. Okay, because we know that when they are not reaching the standard here, then they will be another market structure. Okay, and when we look at the spectrum, and the next one is going to be monopolistic competition. Okay, all right, yeah, right. Okay, so yeah, there you go. All right, you just have to understand like what concentration ratio is. Okay, so maybe in paper 3 they will ask you. Okay, they show you some numbers and they ask you to explain. Okay, so what does it mean? The 35%. What does it mean? Okay, and you just have to here, right, copy and paste. Okay, just use the template here, and then you can explain it perfectly. Okay, all right, yeah, simple, right? Yeah, so that's concentration ratio. Okay. All right. So So now, after studying, a lot of interdependence, okay, we are going to look at collusion. Okay, collusion in details. All right. So now we are looking at the cooperation part. Okay. Yeah. Even though we know there are conflicts. Okay, there are conflicts between cooperation and competition. Okay, but we also want to study when they are cooperating. Okay, when they're having collusion, like what forms of collusion that they will have. Okay, and in this curriculum we are going to learn two kinds of collusion. Okay, so right there. Okay, formal, informal. Okay, or sometimes you see open or tacit. Okay, tacit is something like implicit. Okay, all right, yeah. But you know that. Okay, collusion is always illegal. Okay, the reason is just like monopoly. Like why monopoly is also illegal. Okay, when you are having collusion, you're basically forming a monopoly. Okay, yeah, let's say if there are 4 firms and then you make collusion, so 4 firms becomes 1. Yeah, 4 firms become 1. Okay, so that's monopoly. Okay, so that's why it's illegal. Okay, yeah, that's not very good for the society. Okay, right. So now we are going to start off with formal collusion. Okay, yeah. When you talk about formal collusion, there is always going to be some agreement. Okay, yeah, among the firms. All right, so those firms, they are going to sign agreement. Okay, sign an agreement for the collusion. All right, yeah, but it is going to be very difficult to find the real life examples for formal collusions because they are illegal. Okay, and if you sign the agreements, then there will be evidence. Okay. And yeah, if people they found out, all right, there are some agreements in some sort of industries, that they will be in big trouble. Okay, and that's why look for the real life example here is going to be difficult. Okay, but I'm gonna show you one. Okay, you just have to use that. Okay, all right. So yeah, so usually when we talk about formal collusion, we use the term cartel. Okay, yeah, like cartel, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is what we call them. Okay, like when people or when firms they have a formal agreement, in an industry to limit competition. So that's what a cartel is. Okay. All right. Yeah. Even when you talk about some gangs in South America. Yeah, then you will hear this word quite a lot. Yeah, cartel. Yeah, same case. Okay, yeah, some gangs they just have collusions. Okay, and they work with each other, right, to get more benefits. Yeah, same thing. Okay, here we talk about businesses. Okay, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So see here. Okay, so when we are talking about cartel, so how do they cooperate actually? So if they have to make an agreement, what would be the terms? What do you think will be the terms? So now let's say so we are going to form a cartel. So when we are forming a cartel, what kind of agreements that we have to make in order to maximize our benefit as an industry? Anyone? Any ideas? What are the terms that we need to make? So when we are forming a cartel. So you may want to think about, if they're not forming a cartel, what they would do. Okay, that's true. Okay, that's correct. Yeah, you cannot lower the price. Okay, yeah, you cannot lower the price by yourself, or you cannot change the price by yourself. Okay, so there should be an agreement on price. Okay, so all the members in a cartel, they are going to use the same price. Okay. and usually a higher price, because this is how you get higher profits, right? Okay, based on the things that you have learned, the diagrams that you have drawn so far. Okay, but how do you set up a higher price? How do you set up a higher price? Yeah, think about the diagram. So if something is changed, then you'll be able to set a higher price. So what is that? Okay, so here, I try to, complete. Okay, reduce supply, or that's true. Okay, but in this case, we are going to reduce, the supply or the output that we are going to sell. Okay, all right, yeah. So yes, right. So we are going to reduce the output that we are going to sell, so that we can set the price at a higher level. Okay, right. So we are moving the point along the curve, okay, to an upper area. Okay, so we are going to sell it at a higher price and lower quantity. Okay, right. So what else would we do? What else would we need to agree if we are forming a cartel? So now we want to think about, how do we avoid people having disagreement? Yeah, some people they do not, they might not want to change the price because of some reasons. Okay, and in the agreement, we will try to fix that. So what else can we do in order to form a good cartel? What do you think will happen when people they all sell different products? Even when we are forming a cartel, and people they just sell different products. So what could be the problem? Different products. I'm talking about the differentiation. No, but when you think about it, okay, when people they have different product differentiation, okay, and you have to force them to sell at the same price, so that could be a problem. Okay, because some people they will not be happy. Okay, when they have a high, when they have a like a very high product differentiation. Okay, because when they do that, they can sell it at a higher price. But now, if you are signing this agreement, then you have to fix your price in a certain level. So that will not be good for those people. They will be very upset. Okay, so that's why sometimes when people they are forming a cartel, they will make an agreement that we are not going to do any product differentiation, okay, or we are going to limit the product differentiation so that everyone is selling the same thing. Okay, when they're selling the same thing, then that will minimize the disagreement among the members of the cartel. Okay, right? Because because when you're selling the same thing, then it's all fair. Okay, it's all fair, and it will not create any incentive for some people to betray or to make disagreement. Okay, so So you may see some restrictions on non-price competition in a cartel. Okay, all right. Yeah, and at the same time, you see, they might put some barriers to entry together. Okay, so that's the way to minimize the competition, because the meaning of cartel is to limit competition. Okay, they're trying their best to limit competition so that they can earn higher profits. Okay, so they may come up with some barriers to entry together, so that there's no new common they can just come into the market and sell products, and they are taking your market share. Okay, so yeah, so there are so many things that when we are making a cartel, or when we are forming a cartel, that we can do in order to create a more perfect form of collusion. Okay, so and these are some of the points that usually the cartel they would do, okay, when they are signing the agreement. Okay, all right, yeah. But at the end, look, the reason why they're trying to come up with so many conditions here, they are just trying to make more profits. Okay, all right, yeah, and that's why they form a cartel. That's why they use formal collusion. All right, they're trying to make an agreement so that we can become a perfect monopoly. Okay, so that we can earn more profits. So that's the case. Okay, all right, yeah, yeah. So that's all for here, and well, I'm not sure if we still have class. Well, yeah, we still have. Sorry, we still have class next week. Okay, but this is what I heard. Even during the exam period, okay. Yeah, some people they said you will still have your lessons. I'm not sure how they do that. Okay, but this is just what I heard. Okay, all right, not so sure. We'll see. Okay, there's no information available so far. Okay, all right, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so there will be that homework that you have to finish, and that's all for today. Okay, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, okay. Yeah, you can go now. Bye. Okay, bye.